So my name is Frédéric Destrebecq. I'm the Executive Director of the European Brain Council. So it was extremely important to be at UNGA 80 in 2025. It was really our objective since a couple of years, and it explains our presence in New York during this high-level gathering. Because this year we have the high-level meeting on the UN strategy on non-communicable diseases. And within the brain community, it was really key to make sure that brain conditions are recognized as being one of the key contributors to disability and mortality in the context of the NCDs. And if we take brain disorders on their own, neurological and mental alike, they are the first cause of disability in the world and in Europe, and the second cause of mortality in the world and in Europe. And with that, we definitely needed to have an ambitious action being planned, being discussed, being decided. But also what we are discussing in our meetings are ways of implementation, so that these big ideas that float relatively high level sometimes and can appear abstract, have a local anchor, but also a local impact and meaningful outcomes for people in need and living with those conditions. And what we would also like to achieve is a recognition that when it comes to the brain, that means sometimes youth disorders, developmental disorders, mental health issues. It requires more than simply public health interventions, looking at some of the key risk factors that are common to cardiovascular diseases or diabetes and cancer, but that also going beyond with our modern way of life, the stress that it incurs, the use of modern technologies, and so on and so forth. So it's really a multifaceted challenge that we are addressing here. And that's why it's important that we do that in an environment such as New York during UNGA. So this year is important, but there is a kind of agenda for the future, which we are now discussing. Future being also the buzzwords that we identified in our meeting yesterday and in our meetings today. When we talk about brain disorders, brain conditions, we talk about kids primarily, we talk about newborns, we talk about pregnancy, young mothers, but we also talk about like every step in the life course. So it's a really holistic agenda, and with that, what we would like to see is that it's not only a health issue, but it's also an issue where we are taking care of the capital of our society. So the notion of the brain capital and the brain economy is really on the rise and being recognized by many different circles. But with that in mind, we recognize that brain disorders and brain as a whole necessitates a greater attention. And for the years to come, we would like to see this recognized in the agenda for the future generations that is currently being discussed within the UN as the kind of post-sustainable development goal metrics to measure objectives, measure targets, and measure outcomes in the ambitious goals that are being set and the kind of the ways by which we address the common challenges that are identified.